Joining us right now is Hessam Nadji, the CEO of Marcus & Millichap. Hessam, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
So, one of the big takeaways from the tax plan that we've spoken about quite a bit on this program is the fact that we may very well see an exodus out of high tax states because of losing the deduction of state and local taxes. But you believe apartment demand is going to see a big move, and it's going to see a big demand in apartment rentals. Is that right?
That is correct. If you look at the real estate industry broadly on the commercial side, this cloud of uncertainty that's held the market back since the president took office has now been lifted. There is much more clarity. A lot of investors have been waiting to hear about tax reform in its final form. Now it's here. There's time required to digest what this all means, but for commercial real estate, the provisions that are most important, like the 1031 exchange tax deferment, interest deduction, and most importantly, the lowering of the taxes for pass-through entities, partnerships, and small groups of investors, which make up the vast majority of commercial real estate ownership, are all very favorable. On the housing front, because of the fact that the housing deduction, interest deduction has been lowered, and you have standard deductions that now may convince lower-priced homeowners or would-be homeowners and not to itemize, both on the high end of housing and lower end of housing, you're going to see lower demand in our estimates, which then turns more consumers into rentals, and rentals for apartments have been one of the strongest portion of the real estate market over the past 5 years.
So just to be clear, you think real estate prices go down, apartments go up, rentals?
I'm not so sure if the prices are actually going to go down, Maria, because there is so much demographic and job creation creating demand for housing anyway. I don't think these tax law changes are going to result in a market downturn or decline.
Okay.
But it's certainly going to soften the pace of the price appreciation on the for sale front and put more people into rentals. And therefore, the value of apartments, we believe, are going to be positively affected by that.
Interesting.
Hessam, what about other parts of the country? We've been talking a lot about, the high tax states and what kind of effect we're going to have. But what about some of the parts of the country where taxes are a little bit lower? Do you see a move in there and a more clear uptick in real estate prices? Where do you see those possibilities?
The states with state income taxes and higher levels of income taxes, higher housing prices, obviously are more negatively affected. But if you look at some of those states, they're also job leaders. They're also, rich with education institutions that bring in capital and a lot of younger people who migrate there. In the lower states, as you said, it's the broader impact of the positive impact of tax reform for real estate in general that's going to create more capital flows. In fact, those markets happen to be, those states with lower income taxes, happen to be ones where price appreciation hasn't been as robust. Therefore, there's more value to be gained. Where a lot of our clients from the coastal markets, California, New York, Florida, are looking at those markets as higher yield, lower price opportunities and looking to take advantage of the arbitrage, if you will, of yield coming out of the more expensive markets into the lower price markets. And we're seeing that happen already.
So just to be clear on, to use Maria's earlier point or term, on this question about an exodus or a possible exodus from state to state based on tax reasons, where are you on that? Is it just a move in the home market from buying to renting, or will we see some of that either in residential or commercial, or I guess, or a lot of that? A lot of people just saying, hey, listen, I'm out of here, I'm moving.
Sure. I think it's more of a dampening of the growth rate in those states than it is an exodus. Again, those states have other drivers and generators of both jobs and demand for real estate that are not going to go away. This is just more of a dampening factor than it is an exodus.
So according to a report out last week by Douglas Elliman, condo and co-op sales in New York dropped 27% in the fourth quarter in comparison to the prior year. Do you see this market turning around?
I do. The condo market in general, the for sale housing market in general, nationwide, Maria, has been in a very robust recovery. 7% price gains for condos year over year, 6% price gains for single-family homes. So it's been a very robust recovery, mainly because the overbuilding of houses and condos and commercial real estate has not been happening. There's a supply shortage. Now, markets like New York tend to be more volatile. You have some very, very hot years, and then you have some pullback years. We saw more of a pullback year in 2017 in some of those higher beta markets. But I think in general, both the supply side is in good place, the demand side has now improved through job creation and more corporate investment because of the tax reform. And the expectation is that the market in general is going to benefit from all this.
But maybe not in New York City, though, because you have a reduction in the amount of money you can take off in taxes on mortgage interest deduction. Now just $750,000, which could hit real estate in New York City in particular. And then also incentives to live elsewhere. With the you can only write off in state and local taxes or property taxes $10,000. How's that not going to hurt real estate here?
It would in those high beta markets, as I mentioned, and that's the whole point about driving more people into renting versus buying at those price points. So your point is very well taken.
Yep. Yeah. No, we'll see that. So I guess you would expect rents then to go up.
Yeah, we are expecting rents to go up. It's not overnight. I really think this is going to take some time to work its way into the market.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing so much investor interest, but everyone's digesting all this right now.
Well,
it's
we're
not gonna be
connecting the dots.
if you
We're
will, a
figuring
hockey
if there's an exodus out of New York, real estate prices go down and rents go up. So we're sort of on the same page. Hassam, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks so much.